Welcome in everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here and excited. Wow, are the Ravens all in or what? Ravens breaking the internet today with the news. And there was rumors. Certainly, connections were obvious between this new addition to the Ravens and the Ravens, but I didn't think many fans thought it was possible. It didn't seem like the finances would be something the Ravens could swing, but holy smokes, they could, and they did. We heard from Lamar Jackson yesterday, folks. He said, go get Jaire Alexander, and that's exactly what Eric DeCosta did. The Ravens have signed Jaire Alexander, cornerback from the Green Bay Packers, but also former teammate of Lamar Jackson at Louisville. Friend of Lamar Jackson. And this is a defense that was already predicted to be one of the very best. I just saw recent power rankings that had them, I believe it was third behind the Eagles and I want to say Denver. I believe it was. But now, you better shake up those power rankings now. You bring a guy like Jaire Alexander who has a ton of accolades. This is a former, first team All Pro, former two-time second team All Pro. This guy has done it all, seen it all, done it all. Let's see here. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Appreciate you guys coming out. Yeah, Super Bowl is or bust is right, Connor. It certainly feels that way. What an incredible signing by Eric DeCosta. And just to kind of really further that point, they get Jaire Alexander signed to a 1-year, $6 million deal. And you can see there, Adam Schefter's reporting that he turned down more money elsewhere to be in Baltimore with his former teammate Lamar Jackson. And it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool to be that team that veteran players will go and sign for less money in hopes of winning a championship, but not just in hopes of winning a championship. They're really to be led by Lamar Jackson. That is just honestly what it is. Cole Jackson said it best. Right on the screen here, you get DeAndre Hopkins and Jaire Alexander signed for $10 million in total over a 1-year period. That's the Lamar Jackson effect. It absolutely is. Cole's right. People want to be here and be led by Lamar Jackson. They believe in Lamar Jackson. And if there's any longtime Ravens fans out there who have seen in years past where the Ravens took a backseat in a lot of ways to big name free agents, and even, ones that they were aggressive and tried to pursue, they were usually outbid or something similar to this were to happen where they go sign with the Patriots because the Patriots were winning every damn year. And guys that are ring chasing that haven't felt what it's like to compete for championships at the highest level, they want to know what that's like. And so they were oftentimes going to New England for lesser money than maybe even the Ravens were offering. Well, those days are done, folks. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are certainly a destination location, and they are a place where people want to come. People want to play, and Jaire Alexander is just the next in line and the next example of that. But as far as what it does to this team and this defense, you're talking about one of the very best in the league now. Basically, essentially what they did is they traded Marcus Williams and Brandon Stevens for Jaire Alexander and Malachi Starks. It still remains to be seen, of course, with Malachi being a rookie. But all signs are pointing, all reports coming out of camp is this guy is as advertised and far beyond his years as a rookie. So now what you're looking at on the outside, holy smokes. You got Nate Wiggins on one side, who had just a fantastic rookie season, and everyone is expecting him to take the next step in his second year. Now you have Nate Wiggins on one side. You now have Jaire Alexander on the other side. Talking about an all-world player, a guy who can do it really. I mean, this is a guy who's going to make plays. There's no doubt. You won't find a more competitive cornerback in the league, a guy with swag, a guy with moxie, a guy that takes on the challenge of a big-time receiver across from him, doesn't shy away in any regard, plays the game fearlessly. And then on top of those two guys, in addition to those, I mean, you still have Marlon Humphrey as your nickel. I mean, and you'd be fine. I wouldn't take a single nickel over Marlon Humphrey in the entire league. You couldn't ask me to. You could ask me to, but I ain't going to do it. I'm flat out not going to do it. So, and then on top of that, they got Chidobe Awuzie, who, is expected to be a very solid veteran contributor. They have TJ Tampa looking to kind of announce himself on the scene heading into his second season. Excuse me. Then they got young guys in Bilal Cohn and Robert Longerbeam, who are, just look to have all the talent and makeup to eventually become good players. But certainly they're going to have time to observe, to wait, to get better, because, man, these three up front, Nate Wiggins, Jaire Alexander, and Marlon Humphrey, is as good as a three-person combination at cornerback as you'll find in the league, and I'd argue it's the best. Now, of course, I'm a bit biased, but when you couple those fantastic players at corner with what we have now at safety, I talked about Malachi Starks. I've yet to even mention and bring up our all-world player in Kyle Hamilton. I mean, this secondary is absolutely star-studded. It's got a bunch of hungry, young, competitive, and a mixture of some older guys. Certainly Marlon and Jaire would fit in that, but not old by any stretch of the imagination. Older, but not old. And then, of course, the complement with Matabike, an all-pro player. Travis Jones, certainly on the rise. Broderick Washington, solid. The pass rush group now adding, a guy like Mike Green to the mix of a pretty damn successful pass rush group from last season. And, of course, Roquan Smith in the middle being the general leading the way. This is a really good defense, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that I'm sure, kind of came into the whole equation of why Jaire was agreed to sign for a 1-year, $6 million contract, when there's no doubt he was offered more money elsewhere. And it's not just, it's the combination of factors, right? Lamar Jackson is here, former teammate, all-world player, best quarterback in the league, gives you a chance to win every game just by stepping onto the field. You have the stability of the organization with John Harbaugh going into his, 17th or 18th season here in Baltimore. Ownership as good as it gets in Steve Bisciotti. Eric DeCosta is, if he's not the best, he's certainly up there with Howie Roseman and a few others, but certainly one of the very best out there, and we'll take him over anybody here in Baltimore. But also, let's not forget about the tradition that's got to be intriguing to a guy like Jaire Alexander. This is an NFL franchise that is the very best of the very best when it comes to defensive side of the football. This is a franchise, as you can see on your screen, that's given up the fewest amount of points since the 2000 season in the entire league. And of course, shout out to the Steelers and Patriots and kind of being on the heels, but not the closest. I mean, you're talking 300 or over 380 points separating first and second place. It's going to take a while for any of these guys to close the gap. So this gap will continue to widen. And I think that's part of the equation as well. You have to, TJ Tampa might be a starter. Jesus, where? If he's a starter here, we're in trouble, because that means there's a rash of injuries that have struck our team. And I'm certainly hopeful that won't be the case. But TJ Tampa might be somewhere down the line, but he's got a long way to go to unseat those in front of him, and Nate Wiggins, who's just looks to be a star on the rise, and of course Marlon and Jaire, who there already are stars. So yeah, I mean, but to your point, TJ has the talent, and let's hope the health this season to kind of make that come to fruition. But speaking of health, Jaire Alexander, that is the one kind of big detractor, right? The thing that scares everybody about Jaire Alexander is that he just hasn't been very healthy as of late. But what makes me encouraged about that man, I'm trying to find I had the note of how many games he's missed, but he's missed a chunk of games. There's just no doubt in the last few seasons. But the Ravens have been, knock on wood, unbelievably healthy in comparison, certainly to what they were a few years prior. But when they made the change, the conscious effort to change their practice schedule from morning practices to the afternoon, when they changed their strength and conditioning staff and got rid of the F graded disaster that was here before, it's totally flipped the strength, conditioning, and most importantly, the reliability of keeping players on the field. And if they are forced to miss some time, get them back way quicker than we saw in previous years. This has been a remarkably healthy team, a team that, of course, all team deals with injuries, but has been pretty fantastic in avoiding those big season-long injuries that we saw plague the Ravens for years not that long ago, before those changes were implemented by John and the rest of the staff. This has been a team that really has kept veterans in particular healthy. I mean, OBJ was a big example of that, a guy who's really struggled to stay on the field. The Ravens managed him from a practice participation standpoint, a game rep standpoint, to make sure he was there and available when need be for those tough plays. And I think that's what we're probably going to see from Jaire. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep this guy healthy. Now, of course, if he's healthy, he's out there. But I think that the Ravens do a great job of dealing with those bumps, those bruises, those days that might be a little risky to get this guy out there. Let's give him a rest. We got plenty of talent behind him. I mean, this was already a talented secondary. Now you add him. So the need won't be, hey, we need you for 95% of the snaps. I don't think the need will be there. Now, if he's 100% healthy, chomping at the bit, eager, let him go. I mean, because he's just that good. But if there's anything that could lead, to further injury or to make it more likely that another part of your body might be injured because you're compensating, then I think the Ravens have the ability to let this guy kind of work his way into whatever size workload you want to give him, because we just have that depth. So still like John Jay says, I still think we need some linebacker depth. Although I will say, Trenton Simpson, this is a big year for him. Got to start processing at a faster speed. Teddy Buchanan's right on his heels, but I do think the Ravens are not completely finished with adding to this team. I'd be stunned if they add another one who's even close to the impact or the name recognition or level of Jaire Alexander. But, hey, who knows? Eric DeCosta seems all in this year. I know, guys, you guys got to be excited to see this all-in attitude. To go out and get a guy like Jaire has got to be exciting to a defense that's already picked to be one of the very best. But, man, look at this. Here we go. 1 year. What is that? Yeah, talking about OBJs. I mean, we've been getting very, very fortunate with the recent veterans that the Ravens have signed, and let's hope that DeAndre Hopkins and Jaire Alexander are just next in line to be huge contributors for a very good asking price, and hopefully get the Ravens over the hump. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Give me a grade. I say it's an A. I don't know how you could grade it any other way. It's a very low risk on just a $6 million deal for a player his caliber. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And I'll be live with Jimbo back tonight to talk more big picture, talk about the rest of training camp news, but of course to further the discussion about Jaire Alexander. But shout out to Eric DeCosta, the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson getting Jaire. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. See you.